Federal agents have reportedly beefed up their operations in response to last week's shooting of two National Guard members in Washington, D.C. The San Francisco chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, also known as CAIR, says more than a dozen Afghan immigrants were taken into custody by ICE this week in Northern California. KTVU's Zahra spoke with members of the Bay Area's Afghan community and joins us live from the newsroom. Zach?
And Greg, the concern right now, there could be more detainments. CAIR says they believe the community is being targeted by the Trump administration, again, in part because of last week's attack by an Afghan national on two National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C.
We're hearing from a lot of people who are afraid.
Afraid after immigrant rights attorney Zahra Billoo says more than a dozen Afghan immigrants were detained in Northern California by ICE this week, including in San Jose.
In each of these instances, the individuals were instructed to report to ICE. It was a scheduled meeting, but it was unusual because it was a short notice scheduling. And shortly after arriving and checking in, they were detained.
Billoo, who heads up the San Francisco chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, says the detainments came just a week after an Afghan national was arrested and charged with an attack on two National Guard members in Washington, D.C. One guardsman was killed, the other critically injured.
After the shooting in Washington, D.C. last week, we saw sweeping proclamations by the president and various government officials scapegoating all Afghans, promising to close their immigration.
Wednesday, the Trump administration opting to pause immigration applications from 19 countries, including Afghanistan, over national security and public safety concerns. In a memo, the administration citing two crimes where the suspects were Afghan nationals, including the recent attack in D.C.
You know, we cannot blame a whole country or a whole religious group or a whole section just because a couple of people's mistake.
Hamid Casey Rosti, who immigrated to the U.S. from Afghanistan more than 30 years ago, owns a hookah lounge and clothing store in Fremont. He says his thoughts are with the guardsmen's families.
One of the National Guards that lost their life, it's sad. Nobody wants that.
But Rosti also noting recent news reports suggesting that the suspect struggled with mental health issues. Now he feels his community is paying the price.
They're afraid. You know, they're afraid. They don't know what's going to happen. So we're Americans. We're not outsiders. America is built by people like us.
And we did reach out to ICE to confirm any ongoing operations targeting Afghan immigrants. We've yet to hear back. CAIR says anyone contacted by ICE should seek out help from their nonprofit or an attorney. Live in the newsroom, Zach Sauce, KTVU Fox 2 News.